How do I see it? Oh yeah, there we go. Hello, hello, everyone. Everyone here. Everyone ready to go. Everyone ready to see. Everyone ready to hear stupid shit going on, yeah? Wait, why isn't this fucking working? Oh, first of all, we are going to change that. Post Vegas. Just chillin'. What is today's date? 10th. As I left Las Vegas. There we go. That's what I thought forgetting meant being in. Yo, what's up, Asian movement? How's it going, Junie Ballsy on the Twitch? Let me just get my shit all ready so I can see everything and fucking do everything, and I don't know. Well, I guess I should alert my Discord servers that I'm streaming. I'm actually using my Discord for what it's supposed to be used. That's what I get for waking up in Vegas. Shut up, da-da. Yo, NicoP, what up? Hello. Back in LA, that's right. BM. I don't know who you are, but I did go to Vegas. I did go to Las Vegas. If you checked out my last stream on the 3rd, actually that was the day before. Can you live stream on Discord? I think you can. It's just, you know, I think most people just use the Discord to hang out, but like you can kind of like probably do one of those group stream watching things. I don't even know. Bowel movement BM. Thank you for that, I guess. Good name. There's only one person on the Twitch, but I guess that's to be expected. I'm not really like trying to promote. So that's how it goes. Let's see what's going on. So this is my 6th stream. As many of you know, I took last week off, or last 2 times, or I guess so. 3rd would be that, yeah. So that would be Thursday. So I took that Sunday and Thursday off, because I was in Las Vegas. How about that BTC price? I mean, I guess it's doing BTC things, you know. But yeah, so right after I talked to you on July 3rd, I went to Las Vegas on July 4th. What happened? I went to July 4th. I stayed at the Mardi Gras Hotel. It's kind of like, it's kind of not the nicest place, but you know, it was during the July 4th weekend, and yeah, it was fine for that, right? I played my day 1 on July 5th, and then on July 6th, I moved into an Airbnb. But I think if I were to do it again, because I was meeting with other people in the Airbnb, but if I were to do the main event again, you know, I was playing with a few players, and one of them was staying at the casino where, you know, a lot of the events were being held, and he was just kind of like, yeah, it's actually not that expensive. You'd think that, you know, there'd be a lot of demand, but during the World Series, I guess, like, he was averaging, you know, over course of a couple weeks, he was averaging like 80 a night, which is a bargain. if you're playing in the WSOP, because like if you're going through those dinner breaks, and you know you can kind of just like call the room service in advance, have them have like dinner ready to go, and then you know like you can take a shower or whatever, or nap afterwards, because they give you 75 minutes, which is seems like a lot, but it's actually not that much. And so you can kind of like, you know, kind of get your food in, kind of get all this stuff in, and like, you know, maybe, you know, just take even a power nap. It's like all these little different advantages. Um, so I'll probably do that next year if I play any of the WSOP events. Um, but we'll see if I even go. Let's see. KTSC on a hiatus. The show sucks now. Well, KTSC is dead. No uploads in more than 3 weeks. Michael effed up big time. 100. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, like, I don't like to, I mean, like, at the end of the day, right? Like, people come to alternative media because they're going to want to see alternative takes, alternative points of view. And, you know, it was kind of silly and stupid, in my opinion, because I think, like, Michael was trying to do the mainstream thing. He was trying to, I don't think he's understood that the media paradigm has fucking shifted, where people don't fucking care about the mainstream shit anymore. Because A, the mainstream people are doing the mainstream shit already and have like infinitely higher production value than, you know, KTSC. So what the fuck are we even doing? And B, you know, alternative media stuff is what kind of like put us on the map in the first place, because like people were, you know, I hate to say it, but like, you know, they're hearing views for the first time that they probably never heard anywhere else, and a lot of those views or a lot of those takes came from yours truly, which is why you guys are still here and no one is there anymore. You know, proof is in the pudding, right? But you know, I feel like it's beating a dead horse. KTSC to me is just done. I mean, I don't really give a fuck. Yeah, it was a shame, but it's time to move on. Nobody cares. You changed my view on content. Thanks. Hopefully for the better. I try to. I think that's a problem. I think you know, most people who talk about communism in America, like, it's gotten to the point where both Democrats and Republicans, they both know what communism actually is. Like liberals think that communism is just like a little bit more liberalism, right? And Republicans just think communism is liberals. It's just like, all right, you guys are retarded and you have no concept of what is going on in reality. You know, I mean, I'll take a few jabs at KTSC for the next probably couple of weeks. You know, I'm always happy to see a few jabs here and there. But yeah, at this point, it's just kind of like, you know, it's already, you know, I say a quote like this, Art of Internet War quote is, what was my Art of Internet quote? Oh yeah, there's no need to step on a dying cockroach. All you're going to do is get your shoe dirty. You know, it's just kind of like, if a cockroach is already dying, why get involved? Why sully your shoe? You know, why do any of the work that doesn't need to be done? You know, no need to get your hands dirty when they're doing just fine on their own. That reminds me of another thing, another quote. I think it's Sun Tzu too. It might be Sun Tzu or it might be Napoleon, but it said, Never interrupt your opponent when they're making a mistake. But yeah, oh yeah, I guess I should talk about Las Vegas since I was there. So, I was in an Airbnb with a couple friends. I was just kind of trying to recreate one of these like Vegas summers where I didn't have too many of them, but like, especially like in 2008, 2009, 2000, like in the early 2010s, during the summers, I would go to Las Vegas and play like a lot of tournament series or cash games or whatever. Um, and I would go with several like either there would be like these Vegas houses that these poker players would all kind of gather around and just kind of grind together and share the costs of a Vegas house, but also kind of like hang out, right? Like sometimes you don't have a playing day or whatever, or sometimes you just don't want to play a tournament. You can just kind of hang out with some of the guys and chill. I remember 2008, I didn't win anything. I think I lost like 20, 30,000 that trip. Maybe a little less. But I remember it being a lot of fun, even though, it wasn't like we were massively balling out either. It was kind of like a small house. But it was just kind of like, yeah, it was a good time, just chill with some, 20 somethings or whatever. And I kind of like wanted to recreate that experience, I guess, now that, I'm in my 40s and, my both both of the people I invited this trip, they both have kids. And so it was a little bittersweet because, like, it had echoes of those times, but, it would never quite be exactly the same. So that's kind of like the bitter part of it. But it was, sweet that, like, we were able to still kind of, like, come out and do this trip, well into our middle age. So that's kind of like what I was happy about. Overall, I played 3 tournaments. I played the main event. Nothing too memorable in the main, I don't think. Except for a hand I played poorly at the end of day 2. I don't really want to bore everyone with the details of that. It was just kind of like a stupid mistake on my part, and I don't really want to rehash it. But I busted day 3 first hand. I was really short, so I jammed like Queen 9 of diamonds under the gun. Get called in 2 spots. One of them was Queen Jack off, which is probably not a good overcall hand against the shove. But what do I know? I was out of the tournament, right? Anyway, I busted that, and then I played the win 2200 right after. That was kind of also frustrating because I ran it up really good, ran into a terrible beat, and then still kind of like managed to run it up again, but then was not able to cash. It was kind of close, but it was probably like 100 spots from the money when there were like 500, 400 left or something, 300 left, or I don't even fucking know. But yeah, so that was disappointing. And then the next day I hopped into the 3K. It was called the Mid Stakes WSOP Championship. I actually cashed that one. That was also disappointing. Well, I guess every time you bust out is disappointing, right? But that was disappointing because once I made the money, I was short. But then managed to spin it up to like kind of like a middling stack, like an average stack. And so I was pretty excited because I was like, oh, okay, momentum's building, now that the bubbles burst, now we're getting into the big money, it was late in day 2, it was late in day 2 of the 3K tournament when we were in the money. and I was ready to like kind of like, well, first I was ready to like pass out because we're only going to play one more level, and then see what was happening on day 3. Unfortunately, I didn't get the chance because I kind of lost in this coolerish spot. Cutoff opens to 25k at 612 with 600k behind, and I have like 406 to start, so he has me covered. I make it 80k with jacks from the small blind, so he 25 from the cutoff, I 80 from the small blind. He calls. Flop is ace jack 4, 2 spades. Pretty good looking flop. I bet 55k. He calls. Turn is offsuit ace, giving me a boat. I bet like 100k. He calls. River is offsuit 10. I jam. Not much more, like maybe 200k. He calls, and he has ace 4 of diamonds. So he had the boat on the. He had top and bottom on the flop, and then turned a boat, unfortunately. And so that kind of. I mean, like, beats like that happen all the time. It's not like this is a totally terrible thing, but I guess, like, it kind of sucked because, like, I was like, all right, like, I busted the first 2. Now that I'm making money in this one, maybe I could make enough to, like, cover everything and maybe even profit. All those, kind of tournament dreams that seep into your mind after the bubble bursts. You're just kind of like, all right, let's see how much we can spin this up to. But yeah, that was kind of like the poker side of what I was playing. So for yesterday, I didn't play any poker at all. I busted that hand on Friday. So Saturday, it was just my friend and I. My other friend had left that day, but we were kind of just chilling. One of the interesting things we did was the John Wick experience. It's in this area in Las Vegas near the Strip called Area 15. And yeah, I don't know. It was interesting. It was they have these kind of like actors kind of like come out and pretend you're like an assassin that's kind of like on the run, and it's kind of cute. I probably wouldn't do it again. I think once you have the John Wick experience, I think you're experienced enough in the John Wick experience. But yeah, that was fun. Steak. I actually played some craps this trip. I think I'm actually in the black for craps. And then I just watched my friend play Bakarat for a while. I don't know what he was doing or whatever, but he seemed to win like 90% of the times he bet. So I was like, does he? Is I joked like, are you like a Baccarat pro? It was just like using this like the screen, I guess, to draw the I don't even. It's just like silly, irrational gambler fallacy, superstition type stuff. But that was also fun. But yeah, all in all, pretty good times. What else yesterday? Nothing too crazy. I mean, we're like, I feel like Vegas now. I'm kind of checked out in terms of like anything other than poker. I feel like over the past 20 years since I've first gone to Vegas as an adult, I've kind of seen it all. There's no real like thing you're like, oh, I gotta do this while I'm in Vegas. Especially as someone who's lived in New York and lived in LA. Even the food stuff, you're like, all right, it's pretty good, but it's kind of like 2x overpriced, and I've kind of done all the fine dining type stuff in my youth. That it's just kind of like, it's not like something like I'm that enthralled by. Was he dealer or player for Baccarat? He played mostly dealer. Pure Baccarat is more luck than skill, if I recall correctly. Yeah, pure Baccarat, there is no skill really involved. I looked it up actually. I was like, is it possible to count in Baccarat? They said it is, um, but your odds are so low that it's like not even worth it. Like the edge of counting is like 0.1%, and so you pretty much have to like execute perfectly, and even then there's a lot of variance, and even then if you get caught, the risk just is not worth the reward. The juice is not worth the squeeze, for so to speak. But yeah, I guess like the other thing too is you do really feel it. The thing I miss most about the old days about playing poker, like not just the Vegas house stuff, but like it used to be kind of like a poker convention where all these players that and talk to online on these forums, whatever, everyone kind of like gets together, hangs out. There'd be like these day before the main event hangouts or whatever. I never actually went to them, but there'd be all these social events that would make it kind of cool to like just like, hey, what's up, like hang out. There's none of that anymore. It's actually kind of depressing. I mean, I'm sure there is for like maybe the younger players, like they have their own Gen Z circles, but it's nowhere near as extensive as it used to be. Even then, even if they do have that stuff, but yeah. Um, yeah, I guess I'm just saying nostalgia. I'm a sucker for nostalgia as well, right? I think we're all kind of like, especially in these times, we're all looking for some sort of stability point where life seemed to not be as terrible, and we weren't on the brink of World War III. So, I don't know. Life was different back then. Um. Oh, but yeah, I was actually somewhat considering moving to Vegas, mostly because of the tax benefits. I don't know if many of you guys know, but California has one of the highest, or I think maybe even the highest state income taxes. Um, and California, yeah, California is one of the highest, and Nevada has zero, right? State income, and so I was thinking about maybe like buying a property there, spending more than half the year there. I'm not even sure, but we'll see. But yeah, this past week, it was like 110 degrees, and I was like, fuck, it's so fucking hot. Like when you're young, I guess, like, and it's hot, like you can kind of bounce back or whatever. But like, I feel like you get heat exhaustion when you're older. I'm just kind of like, just felt like so lethargic or whatever, or sick sometimes even. Um, it was just kind of like, I think like my body temperature regulation was all out of whack. Um, and I was just kind of like, I don't know if like that idea of moving here is a good one. Um, oh yeah, and apparently, my friend who lives in Las Vegas, she was going to, over this past weekend, she went to some sort of Backstreet Boys concert at the Sphere, where it's like this. I saw her post some stories about it. It was like this whole like fucking display, like showing like a spaceship like deposit, like the Millennial album, the Millennial, fucking hell, yeah, the Millennium album, right? The 2000, that was 2000, so that it was really themed up based on that, and it showed them like like depositing them on stage like a spaceship, like whatever. It looked pretty cool, not gonna lie. I've never been to the Sphere before, but I was like, oh, that's quite an event. I think her friend was visiting from out of town, and they decided to go to the Sphere. But yeah, Oregon is much nicer weather and such. IMO, yeah, but Oregon, I don't know. There's too many fucking libtard Trotskyite types up there. Any theory on where that California income tax money goes? Well, actually, we are a state that is net contributor, right? We pay a lot of, the federal surplus stuff, whereas like states like what Mississippi are like net takers. So that it goes to other states firstly, which is retarded. Um, doesn't go to to the roads, or that's for sure. Doesn't go to cleaning up anything around here. Doesn't go to whatever. And they also increased the income tax for just not the sales tax. That doesn't pay for roads either. I don't know what pays for the roads. Um, it doesn't pay for the homeless because we've put billions of dollars in homeless every year, and somehow they don't get unhomeless. Did so I don't know. You tell me. I guess definitively speaking, they go to salaries for government workers. that's how that's how the we know that one for sure. But yeah, I have no idea. No, 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 not Portland. Lol. The countryside of Oregon. People are all conservative. Do not ever go to Portland. Yeah. You don't have to tell me. Um, Countryside of Oregon is like the countryside of Korea. Practically same latitude, I think. Yeah, but I'm the kind of guy who'd probably get really fucking bored. I would get bored really fast in the countryside. I thought about that too. Like I was like, maybe I should just move to Bali, right? Like fucking Carl Za. Just move to Bali, marry someone, marry a local, with all your money and proselytize about how, you progressive you are about China and all this fucking other woke shit, whatever. Weed in Oregon is supposed to be amazing. Okay. But yeah, so, I could do that, Carl Za, just, live a comfortable life and just whatever. But at the end of the day, I was like, no, this is like doing that shit, like being abroad and being pro China. I'm just kind of like, yeah, great. You're preaching to the fucking choir. You're not in the belly of the beast, like doing what's actually fucking necessary. You're safe and sound in Randomville. It's like, yeah, if you're in Nazi Germany, and if you were in the Soviet Union or in one of the Soviet states or whatever, or a state that was not really friendly to Nazi Germany, you would be like, yeah, you could say all the shit you want and not have to worry about anything. But if you're actually in Nazi Germany, you know, you have more of an impact because you're in Nazi Germany. You're telling it how it is. You're telling how the world how it actually is. But you're more at risk, right? Because of the censors, the people who are going to come after you for saying shit. So that's the long reason why I would never live in a place like Oregon. Yeah, Bali is hot. I am not going to go to the Philippines or Vietnam and meet a hot Asian wife. I need a wife that understands English. and or is extremely intelligent. I don't, not into dummies. Not into dummies or grifters or gold diggers. That's just me. I mean, you can be a Passport Pro if you want, but that's not what I'm doing. Anyway, I don't know what's been going on this week. I'm trying to follow the news, but I don't think anything too crazy happened, right? This might be a short stream. Trump to announce aggressive Ukraine weapons plan. Oh, I guess Superman came out. Ugh, who cares? Like these. Oh, God. Can they just like stop fucking making these dumb fucking movies? Just like, no one cares. No one fucking cares. Yeah, I told you Superman was gonna fucking suck. I knew it. Nobody. It's just like, no, it's gonna suck. Fell for it again award. You get another fell for it again award. What else came out? Rotten Tomatoes. Oh God, Jurassic World. This is just like slop after slop after slop. I was thinking about watching F1 last week in Vegas, but nobody wanted to watch it. Oh God, there's a Freakier Friday? Jesus. Hollywood's definitely dead. Wait, what is Unit... There's a Unit 731 movie? Wait, what? Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Yeah, this is what I'm fucking talking about. That's right. This is our own fucking, Holocaust movie. Instead of fucking a gajillions that the Zionists have created. That are just fucking, oh, poor us. Only Jews have gone through a Holocaust before. Yeah, it's fucking retards. I don't even care about Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four sucks. Not. I don't know. I don't know about the comic these days, but the movie is going to suck, and I'm not even going to watch it. I'm basically like, you know what? I'm basically boycotting Marvel now. Not because of anything politically, just because it sucks. Like, I'm so disgusted with how much it sucks that I don't even want to watch it, even when it comes out on Disney Plus. I'm just kind of like, I'm not even going to watch it. Yeah. Like, movies made here suck balls. Like, there's no point in watching movies here anymore. And even fucking, that's what Hollywood did. Like, Hollywood fucking ruined Squid Games. Like, it was funny. After the first two tournament busts, I did watch Squid Game. I watched the end of the first season of Squid Games to kind of like put me into the mood. Be like, all right, like, because in tournaments, like there's always this emotional roller coaster of like, okay, in the beginning of the tournament, you're all nervous and anxious because you're like, what's gonna happen, blah blah blah. Then you settle in, and then like, stuff happens here and there as you get close to the money, all this, drama and tension and blah blah blah. But I think like the best players, obviously, they treat it just like any other tournament. Like, it's just kind of like every hand is just kind of the same, blah blah blah. You just kind of try to play your best against the opponents that you're playing against, and trying to like make good reads and get trying to just play well rather than thinking about trying to win every time. I mean, like obviously the goal is to win every time, but it's like to not make that the focus because like yeah, obviously everyone's goal is to win, right? So it's almost kind of like I was trying to put myself in the Squid Game mindset because it was just kind of like the best way to play tournaments is to play them as if you're already dead. So it's just kind of like, like you don't have any of that. Oh no, am I gonna bust now? That means I can't, win the millions of dollars later, right? But you do have to take those risks in order to make it that far. And I guess it's almost like a Hegelian type thing where most people want to win and they don't want to lose, right? But then you kind of almost have to accept losing in order to win. Kind of like this weird dialectical process of poker. Yeah. Yeah. Us superhero movies are time robberies. Oh yeah, it was so fucking god. Even Endgame, I actually didn't like Endgame in 2019. I thought it was gay and retarded. um, like literally. I mean, that fucking scene where it's like, "Yas, Queen," like let's all save Spider-Man. I'm just kind of like, this is gay and retarded, like literally. Um, and just like that whole like, oh, we're gonna beat Thanos now. It's like, oh, like why are you gonna win this time? It's like, oh, because you didn't have me. I'm just kind of like, oh god, who wrote this fucking garbage? Like, that's how crazy people were in 2017 when that shit actually worked. And that shit actually was like, oh yeah, girl boss power. Oh yeah, I'm gonna buy tickets to this stupid fucking movie, Captain Marvel. And then just 4 years later, 5 years later, what happened? Yeah, it just fucking bombed because everyone was like, yeah, no girl power. Um, uh, but yeah, my favorite movie probably still Winter Soldier, but like I really liked Infinity War because Thanos technically wins that movie. He's just he accomplishes his goal. He just wills it. Um, and there's also so many fucking holes in the movie logic of the Endgame one. I was just kind of like, this is just like a our greatest hits album. The Endgame was just like a fucking greatest hits album. That's what it was. That's what Endgame was. But yeah, I mean, yeah. At the end of the day, I wasn't like, oh, this fucking sucked or whatever. I was like, all right, this is fine. I wasn't like angry about it, but I was just like, whatever. All right, we'll see what Phase 4 is going to be. Hopefully, don't fuck up Fantastic Four the third time. God. Well, yeah, they did. They did fuck up Fantastic Four a third time. From what I heard, from what I hear, that seems to be the case. Transformers 1. I didn't even watch anything. Did I? I don't think I watched anything past. No, I watched like the Mark Wahlberg Transformers, I guess. Um, I don't know. I think movies are pretty much dead. I mean, I've been saying that for a while now, but I think we kind of see more and more. Like, we'll see how. I mean, like, I think Superman will probably do well at the box office. I think people are just like so desperate for something to be even halfway decent now that Superman is like, oh my god, it's so good because like it's not terrible. And it's also kind of funny because um when you really think about it, the Superman story is pretty much they are Zionists, you know. Um it's Kal-El and the Kryptonians being like, or you know, the Kryptonians telling Kal-El, "Hey, you need to be this kind of like search beacon for another planet for us. You know, we need a our planet is gonna not survive, so we need a new place to terraform and turn into our own, you know, planet." And which is funny because also, you know, Superman was created by a Jewish creator in 1939. And most of the big, you know, obviously Stan Lee is Jewish as well, so most of the big Marvel characters are also Jewish created. I'm not sure if that's either of those creators were Zionists. I don't think they were. And it's possible they could have even, or the Superman creator might have even been making commentary against Zionism when it's talking about the whole Kryptonian storyline stuff. Um, I mean, that could have been like a direct critique, and people just didn't put two and two together until me, you know. But I feel like people should have put two and two together after the Man of Steel. It's so apparently obvious. Like General Zod was like, "Yeah, this planet's ours now. You guys are, we are the chosen ones, and we're better than you." What's up, Sano? Sano? But yeah. Just be lucky it's not another Spider-Man reboot. Ugh. Yeah. Spider-Man is also turning into a disappointment as well. It's like every fucking... I thought it was like gonna be pretty cool, and then he ends up like the character just ends up being a little fucking bitch. Especially in the last one. I'm just kind of like, come on. Sanel? Like panel? Sanel? Sanel. People talking about the Epstein shit all week. Oh yeah. I mean, we all know it's all fucking bullshit. I mean, and now we're probably like pretty sure that Trump is on it. Um, we kind of all knew that going in anyway. And I would guess like Elon seemed pretty confident that his name was not, because like, you know, he was saying like Bannon was on it, Elon was, or Trump was on it, whatever. I feel like it'd be pretty ballsy for him to say that if he was on it as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually give Elon a possible pass on this one, even though there was that picture with him and Ghislaine, right? Ghislaine. But he seems pretty gung ho about pressing on this thread, or pulling on this thread, because he's anti-Trump right now. But then, you know, like obviously that means that he probably wouldn't do anything if it was bringing himself down with the ship, unless it's like a high level play where it's like he knows that it'll never get released either way, but then he wants to pressure Trump because Trump did you know, one of those things. I guess that's also possible, but I think for now, I guess I'll give Elon a semi-pass for being suspected to be on the list. That's what I can follow. But the other thing I'm seeing about the Epstein stuff, people are kind of like being distracted away from the Diddy stuff and the Eric Adams stuff. And I think there's a lot of stuff that's going on that could be also relevant to Zionism and Turkey and stuff like that. So needs to be kind of figured out. What's the client list unofficial? Predator movie is Computer animated jerky. Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, one positive is that I'm seeing is that Trump's MAGA people are actually like calling it out. Apparently, he was ratioed for the first time on Truth Social for saying like stuff like, "Oh, why does everyone care about the Epstein shit, whatever?" And then everyone's like, "Fuck you, you are part of the deep state now." Um, Actually, I should check in with Michael Wan because he was like, he's diehard Trump supporter, diehard MAGA, right? But it'll be interesting to see um if his perspective has changed at all about the deep state stuff, and if Trump is actually pro deep state or not. I've always, like obviously, if you caught KTSC before, I've always said that Trump became deep state pretty much almost solidified after the assassination attempt, um, which I think either spooked Trump or was planned with Trump in order to secure the presidency. But yeah. MAGA turning on Trump. Yep. Mike Wan is probably anti-Trump now. Could do a short interview with him. Yeah. I mean, I'll ask him and see what's up. You think Trump tries to run again for third term? No, I don't think he'll last. I think the CIA will take him out before that, if he actually tries to do something like that. I don't even fucking know. But that's not happening probably because you need I believe you need a 3/4. You need a 3/4 in the Senate and a 2/3 in the House, I believe, for a for a constitutional amendment. And so, yeah, there's no way in hell like enough Democrats are going to go for that. Thomas Crook's rifle setup was all wrong for the 165. Yeah, just like the same thing with the Kennedy assassination. Like that rifle was bullshit rifle too, and Oswald was a terrible shot from what most people or most army people kind of like. Not terrible shot, but he was nowhere near the shot needed to be to pull that thing off with that gun. So same shit. Like it's just like whatever. What if you and Ed did a podcast? I already asked Ed. I don't think he's interested. I think he wants to do his own kind of like mod major thing. I mean, I haven't talked to him about that, but that seems to be the project that he's more focused on. Which seems a little bit more like, yeah, I would not want to be on that show if you see clips. It is very, very liberal, for lack of a better word. I mean, we could legally. There's no legal restrictions on like us doing. There's no like NDAs that we had to sign or whatever. That or non-compete, whatever. But I don't think there's interest in doing that. Don't pod with who, please. Anyhow, what else is there? Let me see. Let me go to news.google.com. I was trying to play mostly poker. I wasn't on my phone at all, almost. for like 4 or 5 full days of playing. So I'm kind of like just catching up too. Kentucky church shooting leaves 3 dead, including suspect. Well, that's not good. One seriously hurt in shooting at Bluegrass Airport. Two women killed. Oh, that's the same one. Wildfire destroys historic Don't pod with Ed. Oh, wow. Someone is not a fan of Mr. Choi. Did KTown people ever make a video, or are they done for good? Oh, God. We're never going to stop asking about this, are we? Well, if you go to the KTown Social Club thing yourself, you will see that there has been no new videos since, let's see now, June 18th, 2025. So almost a month. No new video. I feel like it's over. Or if it starts again, it will probably will not be with any of the same cast. But I think it's over. It's over. It's over. I love you. Tomorrow. Only a game. Mr. Wan looks ambitious, but not in the right way. Yeah, I don't know. You know, he's just trying to do his journalism job, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, it's just kind of like KTSC. The only reason, like, people were tuning in was because, like, people didn't really, like, care about KTown content. Like, KTown is not, like, that fucking glamorous. Unless you're a proper, like, food blogging thing. Then it could be interesting because KTown does have the most amount of restaurants per square foot in the country. So, you know, there's a lot of content if you're doing really good food content. But, as you can see, they did not do that well. And that's the other thing too. Like they were already doing food content on some of their other channels or whatever, and to try to do it here or whatever, I'm just kind of like, no, this is like, that's not what this was supposed to be, the whole political thing, blah blah blah. And you just try to like fucking spill all the other fucking KTown stuff into the thing to turn this. It's just like, bro, you don't even understand why this is doing well. He thought it was all because of him and because he put it together. It's just like, no. No, I didn't see the new Jurassic. I'm not gonna watch that slop. I am not gonna watch slop from Jurassic Park. What am I? Let me see 2025, and let me see if there's anything I'm going to watch for the rest of the year in theaters. All right, here we go. Wait, can I put this? Let me try putting browser. How do I put the... I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going. How do I? Whatever. I'm not gonna try to figure it out now. Yeah, of course I remember the KTown. That's why it was just like, this is stupid. Stupid fucking bullshit. All right. So I'm on July. Sorry, I'm on the page list of American films of 2025 on Wikipedia. If you want to follow along, I don't have the brain capacity to put it up on my. I'll try to figure that out for my next stream. How to put my stuff on screen. Anyway, let's see. Smurfs, no, obviously. Know what you did last summer. Oh, great. Fantastic Four. Nope. What the fuck is Guns Up? That looks so stupid. Everything looks so fucking stupid. Bad Guys 2. The Bad Guys 2. It's all dumb. The Toxic Avenger. It's what the hell is that? Ugh. Him? No. What the hell is him? Oh, this is like Jordan Peele's new movie? Oh no, he's producing. Him is an upcoming sports horror film. Promising young and up and coming football players invited to train an isolated compound of the dynasty team's aging quarterback. Legendary, almost retired, Marlon Wayans takes his protege on blood chilling. That might be interesting, actually. Might watch him in September. Yeah, I don't know. It's all a blur. It's all, what is this, like Avatar Fire and Ash? Oh god, are we watching more Avatar movies, I guess? Yeah, I mean, I guess why not, right? Nothing better to do. It's funny. I asked, kind of like my poker friends. They're not as, obviously, the average person is not as plugged in as I am. So I just kind of asked them, like, I asked one of them, like, kind of like what their take on the state of the world is, and they do agree. Like, they're not kind of like too super oblivious. They know that something bad is on the horizon, and that but I think it's helpful to just kind of check in to see what people are thinking about, because this guy has a family or whatever. So I'm just like, oh, okay, like this is what rational people are kind of like thinking in terms of like, oh, I don't even have time to like think about all these things, because like I got my kid to take care of, and I got to still work and do all this stuff. I don't even have time to read up on what's going on. So yeah, and it's just like all these different things. Like, yeah, I know that there's a chance this could all spiral out of control and be really chaotic, but at the end of the day, what can I do about that? Like, I can only control what I can control. So I think a lot of people, especially my age, in that cohort, in that with families, whatever, of Americans, like millennials, I think a lot of them are saying or thinking the same things about politics, where it's not that they're all these like liberals just kind of like rah-rahing for whatever. It's more now people are just kind of like over, like, even thinking about politics, because a lot of them are kind of like realizing it's all fucking bullshit theater stuff anyway. Stuff that I've pretty much realized a long time ago about politics in general. And yeah, it's just kind of like, I mean, the flip side, I guess, or the cynical person would be like, well, it's only because they're so, they're comfortable enough so that they have only first world problems to deal with. And yeah, that's probably true in a sense. There's, you know, um, obviously it's easier to be concerned about personal problems than the problems of people 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 miles away. That's just human nature, right? I think, but I wouldn't say that, like, just because someone is less well off that they're necessarily more compassionate. Um, I feel like that's a logical fallacy a lot of people fall into. Yep. But the other thing about them being no good movies is just kind of like, when you think about it, when you really start to see movies as propaganda, and I think a lot of Americans are starting to see it that way a little bit, you kind of like the movie the movies don't work anymore, right? Because they movies, when they're made, they rely on a certain suspension of disbelief or a certain kind of like level of buy-in. Like, um, yeah, exactly. Movies tell you what it's sorry. It's just like another level of like selling you something. Like I've discussed ad nauseum, I'm sure, about Marvel and Zionism, right? And Iron Man. Um, but once they sell you something that you're like, well, I don't know about this anymore, and that's why that's again, like I mentioned before, that's why they changed the whole Israeli superhero into Captain America 4, right? Because they didn't want any of that bad press, even though they did all that in Iron Man, 17 years ago. And when the zeitgeist shifts so rapidly every other day, a new truth is coming out that a lot of people didn't realize or know. Like, movies take like a year or 2 years to develop, right, from start to finish, even like the sequels, whatever. But like, if you have those storylines in there and you're just like, oh, people are not going to like this, and then we're seeing that more and more and more as more it starts to unravel. Like, for example, even like, if Independence Day, that movie, the alien one, with like, if that came out today for the first time, like as an original concept, it would not do well because people would be like, no one's feeling patriotic. No one's feeling like, oh yeah, America's the hero of the world. Like, no one's thinking that in America. Like, we are like, we have the lowest kind of like American pride since the end of the Vietnam War at this point. Um, I think that there were kind of Gallup polls and whatever that kind of indicated such. Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like even the Independence Day, like, parades and all this other stuff or celebrations this year were pretty muted. Like, nobody even like talked about doing a whole barbecue or whatever, or maybe they just didn't invite me. um, but yeah, it just felt like July 4th came and went almost. Next year is gonna be the 250th anniversary, so that'll be interesting. Oh, thanks, BM. Uh, I put a lot of work into that one, hoping more people see it. That reminds me, I guess, now that I'm back and probably not traveling for at least a couple months, maybe. I don't know. I might go to Vancouver, but we'll see. Um, I am planning to finally get working on my videos. I gotta work on my Breaking Bad video, and then the Kanye video, and then I need to finally do the WMA of Mind Virus video, because apparently people still don't accept that it's a thing. Still don't believe that it's a thing. Still don't think that I'm, whatever. Still think I'm an incel or whatever for saying the things I say. And I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to fucking make a video, and you dumb fucks are going to realize how dumb fucking fucks you are. But yeah, so I'm going to be working on that. Got my other stuff to work on. Got, I have this to keep me going, I guess, during the week. Yeah. Hopefully I'll be pumping out stuff, putting out stuff for you guys. Well, don't say there's no good movies yet. Mortal Kombat 2. I didn't even see Mortal Kombat 1. But yeah. Alrighty, this is gonna be a short one for me. But I will be back Thursday. Regularly scheduled time, twice a week. Now that KTSC is dead, y'all know where to find the actual interesting takes. And oh wait, actually, before I go, I forgot. I have my wait a second. Yeah, I have questions, right? The NGL stuff. If you want, I'll just answer some of these questions if they're not. Oh, there's only one, so here we go. Top 5 favorite movies. Okay, this is actually a fun one. I mean, The Matrix is up there. And, yeah, The Matrix has to be kind of like top 1. Probably Ace Ventura 2 would be up there. The Dark Knight is my favorite superhero movie. Might actually even be my favorite Nolan movie. It's at 3, right? Trying to think, like, what other movie have I, like, LARPed? God. Those 3 for now. Maybe Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Though, it used to be one of my favorite movies. Now I'm kind of like, on it. But I feel like I need to watch it again. And then there's always Rounders. Rounders is always kind of a good classic. So it kind of like put me in a good mood. But yeah, those are my favorite movies. I'll have to think about that again. But if you want to ask questions, just go to NGL. What is it? What's the link for next time? ngl.link/DougFantastic. So yeah, I guess I'll put that in the description in every video. That'll probably be a good idea. Alrighty, I'm out early this time, so peace.